This picture is from about the beginning of 1900s. This is a shot from the valley of Bursa towards Emir Sultan. This mosque, this Ottoman mosque, built in the 14th century, has a very critical role in my architectural career, and I'll try to explain you why. As you know, Bursa is a city in the Marmara region of Turkey, one of the most ancient cities of the country and the first capital of Ottoman Empire. But on the other hand, it's my mother's hometown and the place of my summer holidays. Another shot from the same valley. This is from 1950s. As you can see, sprawling at the foothills of Ulu Mountain, the city was still an image of beauty in those days and called the Green Bursa. And this is unfortunately from the last year. As you can see, the city has totally lost its identity, and this is in about 60 years. I can say that it's a climate of all that it's solid melts in the air, and sparkling, flashy, and dashy high-rises emerge as the new symbols of the cities everywhere. And off the record, the investors are using those symbols as their weapons, and we as kick-ass architects are transforming to be their agents. Now we are in Istanbul, a metropolis of 15 million. These two pictures are from the same area, nearly from the same point, and it's not very easy to imagine, but there are only 50 years between them. Okay, I know that it's quite popular to complain about transforming of the cities, but I don't want to do this. It makes no sense. I don't want to, let's say, as one of the most productive architects of the country, I don't want to stand here on this weird red carpet and defend you a gloomy kind of conservatism, because I believe that cities like Istanbul should face the tension of intense migration and learn how to deal with this kind of massive flow. In this case, it's not very easy to talk, or it's not understandable to talk about stability or about seclusion. I know that a great majority of architects would worry about expressing it, but we should be working to achieve a qualified density. This is very important, because I strongly believe that a kind of meritable or urban transformation could come through without even distracting the authentic values. Okay, now I want to put aside the issue of design for a while and go back to Bursa once again. Here above you see me with my grandma, and below we are together with grandpa and the cousins. I can honestly say that my grandma was by far the nicest person I ever known in this world, and first of all, she was extremely big-hearted. She was decent, humble, and reliable. On the other hand, she was quite religious, reading Quran every day and praying regularly. But she was not bigoted at all. And my grandpa, conversely, somehow, he was an atheist. He was a real intellectual, reading French books instead of Quran. And he was making fun of religious rituals, and he was encouraging me to disturb my grandma, and I was jumping to her back while she was prostrating. To say the truth, it was a big fun in the beginning, but as she was always keeping her serenity, I became ashamed day by day and stopped doing this silliness. I remember those days. Their house was one of the most peaceful places on the earth, and they loved each other in spite of their discrepancy. And instead of causing any trouble or fighting, the religiousness of my grandma and the atheism of my grandpa somehow balanced each other. And I can say that the unlimited kind of unlimited tolerance, we call, or the pudicity, and we call it haya, was ruling the atmosphere. I think it was the general understanding or perception of the era, and at least in Turkey 40 years ago, the religion was not a disruptive factor in the society. I think it's not very easy to find this kind of values today, and it's sad. But I miss them. I miss the sincere religiousness of my grandma. I miss the tolerant, non-polarized, and soft and tender intentions of the society. Okay, we can go back once again to Emir Sultan Mosque in Bursa. I remember I lost a remarkable piece of myself when my grandma died, and the funeral ceremony was quite crowded. Long afterwards, people walked away one by one. I didn't know why, but I didn't move at all. I didn't want to move at all, and I stayed there. The courtyard was getting somber and lonely, and the silence was a bit creepy, but somehow I was feeling comfortable. I was not yet an architect, but the power of the place affected me, and then it was a very important moment for my life. A couple of years ago, a foundation called Sancaklar got in touch with our office for a project of a new mosque. To speak honestly, as a prejudgment, I thought that they were looking for a replica of Ottoman mosque, because even today in Turkey, when you design a new mosque, the first thing that you have to face are the figurative burdens of the classical Ottoman mosque. It's a weird anachronism. So I told them immediately that I'm not that kind of architect, and I was sorry, but the first meeting was finished dustily. On the other hand, I'm a big fan of Ottoman mosques, and I love their volumetric compositions. I adore them. But today, even, I mean, about a half a millennium, it's not very easy to talk about this Ottoman mosque. And to say the truth, when you make this kind of mosques everywhere in Turkey, in the country, it is kind of pathetic thing, in my opinion. This is an issue that we face every day, and we are accustomed to see every kind of different replicas and even some caricatures in everywhere. These are two examples from the latest part of 20th century. The one on the left, it's a replica in Ankara, with more reasonable proportions maybe, but still combined with the supermarket. And as you can see, the one on the right, this is in Mersin. You can think that rather than minarets, you can think that 6 rockets will start their engines soon. The one on the left is the original Selimiye Mosque in Edirne from the 16th century, one of the masterpieces of architect Sinan. And the one on the right, which is the newly made very soon in 2010. This was built in Ataşehir, and ironically the name is Mimar Sinan, is a clumsy replica of its original nearby the residential skyscrapers. A couple days after the first meeting, the head of the foundation called me once again and came to the office with this picture, which was reflecting the general atmosphere of the area where they were willing to build the new mosque. And I should say that I was quite impressed about the panorama and about the, let's say, untouched aura of the valley. And additionally, he said that they were ready to give me a realm of freedom about design, and this time I was supposed to accept the job. I can say that when we go to the first era, I mean, it's a habit for our office. We always do this. We always go to the antiquity or to the roots in order to find a way for radicalization. And when we saw that masjid simply means a place to prostrate and nothing more than this, and it does not dictate any form, we saw that the only condition is the cleanness. I mean, when this is clean, it's okay. You can pray there. And we said that, okay, anywhere on the earth can be a masjid. And we realized that there is no any formal definition in the Quran for a mosque or in any other source. And we tried to, in this case, okay, we saw that the mosques are diversified under the influence of different cultures through the history. And in this case, we tried to reach the essence. This was the essence of, rather than trying to get some very new form or extravagant forms, we tried to reach to the essence. And this was the essence of ritual of praying. However, on the other hand, we saw that Islamic architecture is passing beyond a very dangerous period because of the pressure of global capitalism. And very nice examples or very good examples of this kind of contamination is Mecca, where the Kaaba is, because as you can see, the Mecca has transformed from the center of the earth to the center of a tourism. And nowadays, the big companies are doing some big hotels, 7-star hotels, and very luxury buildings, very luxury houses. With this kind of intentions, it's not very easy to talk about modesty. The humbleness, humility, or let's say unpretentiousness does not live here anymore. Take Sheikh Zayed Mosque as another example in Abu Dhabi. This is one of the latest landmarks of Islamic architecture. And this building is very well known for having the biggest carpet in the world and the most bombastic chandeliers. It's a place to diplomatic visits. It's a tourist attraction. It's a place to see and to be seen at. It's a place for Instagram or Facebook. Okay, I think we can go back to essence once more. This time with the mark of humbleness, humility, and nobleness. Sancaklar Mosque that we designed 2 years ago is located in Büyükçekmece in the outskirts of Istanbul. As you can see, it was the initial photo of the site. It's a very nice panorama overlooking the lake and the kind of wild landscape. As a first and very important decision, we wanted to put the form itself away in the beginning of design process. And we aimed to discard all cultural burdens which could affect the purity of our consciousness. And in this respect, we want to suppress the architectural language as much as possible. And I can say that this mosque is trying to tackle with architectural attitudes of mosque design in formal attitudes of mosque design in Turkey. I'll try to explain you how we did it very briefly. We thought that we could play with the topography a little bit, and we put the main spaces below. And with the help of a very simple slit, we got the natural light into the main hall. When you approach to the land, you see nothing than a courtyard enclosed with some very simple horizontal walls and a single vertical mass, which is the minaret, and it signifies the place. And when you enter to the upper courtyard, you see the minaret with the funeral place. And you can see it from the other angle. From the upper courtyard down to the lower level, you see the cascades following the natural slope, turning to the stairs. And when you are in the lower level, you see the entrance of the main hall, the ablution rooms, the tea house, and the library. We used always natural materials as local stone, timber, and water. Of course, I can say that, like the old Ottoman complexes, this is a place for praying as well as gathering, and this is kind of an outer meditation space. Of course, sometimes different users are enjoying the place, and I'm very happy about that. A kind of open seating area, another angle, and the entrance doors of the main hall and the ablution rooms. And finally, we are inside. As you can see, the minbar, mihrab, and the natural light coming from the slit, washing the qibla wall and reflecting all kind of different colors during the day as the main decoration of the space. The opposite angle. And the wow letter from Mehmet Özçay is a very special calligrapher. And unlike the conventional mosques in Turkey, here people or the women can pray at the forefront. And especially on Fridays, the mosque is full, and I'm very happy about the embracement of the community. Coming to the end, let me read you a quotation from the Quran. It was written here, but it's not there for the moment. But as well as I remember, it was something like this. Don't walk upon the earth bragging. You can never cleave the earth, nor can you reach up to the mountains. The religion has shapeshifted, and the general atmosphere is getting more and more depressive. Who knows, maybe one day focusing on the essence can turn a light on. That's what we try to capture with the architecture of this mosque. And one more time, I miss the sincere religiousness of my grandma. Thank you.